Hey y'all, it's Lady O again, Mayorwork Conversations podcast. Gonna jump right in. This is on my Facebook, so from now on, just going with intuition and just being obedient to the game plan that's being shown to me. I'm gonna be uploading my unedited videos on Facebook because I find the different devices that I've been using just always pop up different issues. So now there's a strategy where I'm able to record, upload to Facebook, and then I can edit it from there and then put on my YouTube. So by the time you see this on YouTube, it's been edited. I've been able to add on, including like this message right now, I'm able to add on. And then take out different things that's make the video a little bit longer, right? However, the raw unedited version is on my Facebook page. Until Facebook starts to act up, until the algorithm starts to act up, until who knows if it ever would, my thoughts is that it would stay as is. And the more of us that start to project the alternatives that we want is what was going to happen. So I do believe and I pray that more men and women who are employed at Facebook would start their own internal revolt against the energies that they are seeing and they know is eroding our democracy. They are being asked to choose between a paycheck and being quiet, because if they speak out, they're going to be now labeled or flagged. And so I get it. So we have to play smart. They say be wise as the serpent and be gentle as the dove. So we have to move smartly, right? Wisely and with wisdom on how to move. So talk about grace and ease, right? Moving with grace and ease. There's a reason why I named my coaching company that years ago, Grace and Ease. So you are now hearing, you're going to be hearing what I put on Facebook. And this is to assist those who are not able to see exactly what the Liberal NDP coalition federally, provincially, and municipally they're doing. On a municipal level, there is this false belief that everybody is independent. No, they're not. They are loyal to their party. And they are there to push. They're the foot soldiers. They're the true foot soldiers that are pushing the agendas that come down the funnel. It's a funnel system that is happening. And many of us who are in business and entrepreneurs, we know about funnels in the background of many advertising and marketing that we do. We are living in a funnel same way. Okay, so the foot soldiers on the ground that are the legs and the arms of the ideologies at the top are your municipal, your councillors, your trustees, okay, and ultimately the mayor. Now, it is not a coincidence that the fake conservative, the liberal member who is in the conservative tent as the premier, and he started to show you this. So when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. When Doug Ford came in running on a platform that he knows conservatives are passionate about, as soon as he got in, he turned on you. And he evicted those and he fired those true conservatives, those who are passionate and very integral in their conservative values. He got rid of them. That was the first sign that you should have seen that he was not a true conservative. And then after evicting them, he then stated he's going to keep the Kathleen Wynne's sexual curriculum intact. And that was not what he ran on. And that is not what he got all of the voters and all of everybody voting for him as a leader, because again, this ideology of a man in a man's world was going to be better. But at the same time, we saw Christine Elliott. She sold you guys out in the past 3 years underneath Doug Ford. She fell in line. She fell in line. Her resignation came 3 years too late, because her resignation on a principle would have sent a very strong message within the party that, hey, not all conservatives are going along with what Doug is saying. So her resignation after the damage, I don't respect. That's just how I am. I know I have some close friends that are that are loving Christine Elliott and loyal to her, but I tell them the same thing. I'm not a respecter of appearance. I respect the fruits of the tree that I see planted. And if you're planting yourself as an ethical tree, you better show some ethical fruits. If your fruits are disgusting and they're just sour and they're just benign, no, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be I am not caping for you. So those who are caping for people because they look like people that are trustworthy, there's a likability. It is a known psychological truth. Despite people saying they're objective, you have biases. You tend to go towards those that you seem as similar to you, the similarity. And as a result of that, Martin Luther King dream is never going to be realized in all communities where you're judging people based on their character and not on their appearance. And that could be the color appearance, religion appearance. It could be eye color, hair color appearance. It could be geography appearance. It could be postal code appearance. It could be all these different appearances where you are making a judgment on a person and not the character, what they're actually showing up and doing and saying. Are they flip-flopping? Are they disingenuous? Are they lying? Like, come on, people. We've come too far. We've come way too far in our ability to assess the BS and then want to fall back and revert back to old, archaic likability. And what are we similar? Listen, we are stuck in the dark ages as a result of not evolving ourselves to know the truth that we have enough in history by now. History does not need to teach us anymore. History is not teaching us anymore. It's not giving us new lessons. History is repeating the same lessons, hoping that someone will finally see that you are living a rinse and repeat. And I believe that we are in the time frame of hope. I do believe that. It's not just my middle name. I truly believe that we are in a time frame of hope where hope is going to be alive. Hope is going to truly penetrate the slumber and the walking comatose state that many are in. We are in a spiritual coma, but we're also in a mental coma, where it's just your mind is just flatline. Your body is moving, but your mind is on flatline, and your spirit is also in a state of a coma. But we're gonna resuscitate. We're gonna resuscitate it. So pay attention to this video. I did a feedback on Justin Trudeau, and I laid out the federal, the municipal, and the provincial that many should be aware of and how they are working in sync with each other. They're in cohorts with each other. They're in cohorts with each other. They are in a lockstep of the different funneling that they need to do to have it now be part of your lived life experience for you to be normal in many different areas. And they're hitting you on multiple areas on purpose. It's not all of a sudden. No, it's not all of a sudden. It's not this big mashup. It is intentional. They're hitting you on the educational level. They're hitting you on the financial level. They're hitting you on the health and wellness level. They're hitting you on the cognitive. They're hitting you on the physical. They're hitting you on all the different senses. They're hitting you in the leisure, your travel, your educational part. They're hitting you in the business. They're hitting you in employment. They're hitting you, as I said, in the health and wellness. It's like coming on all angles. And then when all that is still hitting you, then they hit you with international issues. Then it's the food and the produce, and certain process facilities are shutting down. Many of you are not aware that the major processing facilities in Quebec are going to shut down, and they say it's labor shortage, but it's not labor shortage. It's not food shortage. There's so much you're not aware of what's happening. And then they keep hitting you and you feel like you're being blindsided. So what do? They throw up some entertainment, some things for you just to resort to, for you to run into, to retreat into. So now you have a lot of entertainment, live entertainment, podcast entertainment, Facebook Live entertainment, Red Table Talk, you have the Real Housewives, you have the Real Hip Hop, you have, oh my God, so many different things that are not movies that are coming out, entertainment. Facebook have their, not even just Facebook, YouTube, the YouTube Reels. There's some YouTube independent subscribers, not subscribers, YouTubers, influencers whose page are blowing up. The algorithms are supporting them because they're there as a distraction, and there's one particular one that's just blowing up the stereotype of the quote unquote black moms and what black moms will be like, and quote unquote what black employee would, and it's all of this, like slapstick humor, but it's also reinforcing stereotypes. It's reinforcing behaviors that we should be progressing out of. Progression is not always a negative thing. It's where you're progressing towards. So is it really progress or is it regression? Are we going backwards? But it's in the umbrella and in the facade of progression. No, we're regressing. We're going backwards. We're not moving forward. The only thing we're moving forward to is going backwards. Like and subscribe on all platforms so that you can assist the algorithms on content like this, and you can bring awareness to others on content like this. We cannot rely on the algorithms alone, because we now know, say, to improve the algorithms, you like, you share, you comment, you save, like in DMs, sharing to that also improves the algorithms, and obviously like, following, and sharing, all of those together does improve algorithms. And the question still stands: does it really still affect the algorithms fair and square with everyone that does that? Or is there still a coding in the background that even if you do all that, they're still going to suppress the algorithms? So we cannot rely on their coding and trust and believe they're going to be ethical that way. We still, like everything and like so many, still have to go above and beyond. We're going to still have to go above and beyond. Share. I'm going to do another one of the law enforcement that I saw on Twitter. It just shows you, it's blatant. Our law enforcement is also infiltrated on so many levels. So yes, we have good people that are retiring because of the frustration and they're done. I will ask for them to still be involved in law enforcement some way, shape, and form, if it is for the next generation, for you to be that senior, that seasoned individual, that seasoned man, seasoned woman in that field who has retired, but you're there for the young and up and coming to say, hey, this is what is there, and I left as a result of this, but I'm going to let you know it is infiltrated. And there's a generation coming up that is part of the liberal NDP mindset, and they are there to push the narratives of dark and just hate and allow mayhem. We do have men and women who are suited up in many levels of law enforcement, internationally, federally, provincially, municipally, and even within private businesses called security guards. Many are going into those areas that are blindsided and have been nurtured with the NDP liberal narrative. So we have to put our young men and women in those areas. They have to become CEOs and bosses of companies that establish an ethical environment. We have to raise up our children to be able to see and spot, be able to stand and articulate, and be able to be strong, rooted in truth, the objective truth of who we are as a people.
When a government has its residents dependent on it to provide the residents' ability to have a quality of life by giving them handouts to afford health care, dental care, buying food, paying for their groceries, paying for their child care, when the government is the one that the residents have to rely on for paying everything that the residents should be able to afford and provide for themselves, it's a welfare government. It's a government that is now in control of the quality of your life, and you are not in control of affording a quality of life for yourself and for your children. The Liberal NDP coalition government is a welfare government, plain and simple. It is a government that is making sure that you cannot stand on your own. You cannot bring in your own income. You cannot have your own standard of the quality of life that you want. You have to be dependent on the quality of life that they give you. This is what this is, people. Nothing more, nothing less. Open your eyes. Toronto, you are on the chopping block. Make sure that you do not get gaslit by any of these Liberal NDP mayoral candidates or any fake conservative who is blue outside but red and orange, more red than orange, but they have orange inside them. Doug Ford has shown his hand. When he had the ability, he ran on a promise to take away Kathleen Wynne's liberal sexual curriculum, and he lied. That is what he ran on. That is what conservatives voted him leader for. And on day one, he rescinded and he fired real conservatives who he knew that was what they were there for. He got rid of them. No different than Mitzi Hunter, who's running for mayor. She was Kathleen Wynne's right hand. She was the Minister of Education. These liberals brought in the quality of the level of education now that many parents are fighting for, with the education more pandering to sexual gender orientation. This is who Toronto is now getting all googie-eyed over. Mitzi Hunter, who was the Minister of Education, who Doug Ford assisted. So let me tell you, when Doug Ford goes up there and says, oh, the last thing that people want is a liberal, he is pandering and he is wanting you to think he's conservative, which he isn't. And then now he strokes the narrative, sets the stage up for her. So now it's like, oh my God, no, we don't want that. Who else? Oh, so if it's not Mitzi, it's Doug's endorsed Mark Saunders. Both of, listen to me, Torontonians, it's very, very important that every conservative be very concerned and do not look at Mark Saunders as an option. He is not. He's going to turn Toronto into Chicago. Tell you that point blank. That is their agenda. Mitzi Hunter's mayor is worse. Worse. So neither one of those are who Toronto deserves. I'm going to tell you, based on my own professional, personal assessment, neither one of those, and I am a resident of Scarborough-Guildwood. Mitzi's riding for how many years? So trust me, you don't want Toronto in the hands of Mitzi Hunter on so many levels. And you definitely don't want Toronto in the hands of Mark Saunders to turn it into Chicago. Now, let's get back to this video here on a federal level. When you have a liberal NDP government that is making you dependent on it, it is a welfare government, and it is not allowing you the ability to ensure the quality of life that you want for yourself. It is capping it. It's keeping it at a level that you need them. They hollowed out the middle class, just like what Chrystia Freeland said. I have that on my YouTube page and I've posted it on my blog months ago. She did a public statement at a speech at an investment forum speaking about the hollowing out of the middle class. Is it a coincidence of the Chinese interference? Is it a coincidence that we have signed documents, signed agreements with mayors of India between Toronto and them? Is it a coincidence that the mayor of Toronto has a very beautiful relationship with the mayor of Chicago? Things that's happening behind the scenes. Then we move to Mr. Saunders, I talk about, who's now want to be the mayor. Listen, they are stacking. And they're playing chess while all of you guys are playing checkers. And all of you who are loyal to the Liberals, they're going to pull this city down worse than you've ever seen if you don't snap out of it. If you don't snap out of the Lotus Hotel that they have you in. Come out. Stop smoking what they're giving you. Stop eating what they're serving you. Stop drinking what they're passing to you. The NDP and the Liberal government, federally, provincially, and all of their candidates that run municipally are on an agenda. And we need to take this train off of their tracks. Get Pierre in there and get rid of the NDP as the opposition. And it's either we get conservatives, alternative parties that are on this page, or we don't get them in at all, and we just get across the board conservative party. If the alternative conservative party members don't stop their nonsense by trying to divide within and laser focus on the NDP to eliminate them from being the opposition and put themselves as the opposition. If we don't have clear leadership on these alternative conservative parties, then they are a liability and they no longer exist either. So if they can't come on board with this plan, keep the conservative parties intact. Focus your campaign on the NDP riding, on the NDP party. If the alternative conservative parties cannot get on that page, then they're a liability and we don't even pay any mind to them. Then we just now get in a total clean sweep of conservative MPs. That's how we need to look at this. So it's either PPC, Canadian Heritage Party, get on the page of getting rid of the NDP and both of you can duke it out to be the new opposition party, or we are just going to focus on getting a clean sweep of conservative MPs. Clean sweep. And the ones that come in will be independent. Because it would be an indictment to the conservative alternative parties to see that we are tired of the infighting of conservatism. We should be on the same side here of getting rid of Liberals and getting rid of the NDP coalition. Because it's not the conservatives that's keeping Canada going down this train track. It's the Liberal and the NDP. Get off of the fight of Pierre. Within the Conservative Party, they did their work. They got rid of Erin O'Toole. They did the hard work of actually standing up against their leader. The Liberal and the NDP MPs have not done that. So why are we still attacking Pierre? Stop it. And if there is not a turnaround of that narrative and the focus is on Jagmeet, who's covering Jagmeet? You guys don't know about team sports. Maybe all of you guys just played a lot of individual sports. Me. The limelight is on me. Maybe more of these leaders should be more exposed to team sports where the light is on the team. We are team conservative. It's not an individual. This is not a Venus Williams sport. It's not a Serena Williams, a Tiger Woods sport. It's not a Jack Nicholson sport. It's a team sport. And even in every team, yes, you have your star players, but everybody knows their role because it's about the championship of the team. So conservatives need to stop this division of this individual team sport and come together. So as a team, Pierre got the Liberals. He's guarding offensively and defensively well. Get off the double teaming. Who's covering Jagmeet? If I was a coach, I'll be benching all of you alternatives and asking you, why the hell are you there? Who is leaving him wide open? So the Liberal could pass him the ball. While you're there covering, all of you are covering Liberal, who the hell is covering Jagmeet and keeping him wide open to always get the pass out? To always make him be able to plant his feet? He's always able to penetrate every goddamn play. Why? Because he's keeping him wide open. Who the hell is guarding him? Listen, you all are soft. I keep telling you. I see right through everything you guys are doing. So it's either all of you are part of this bullshit plan, or you guys have serious character deficiencies that can't make you see that you are supporting the bullshit plan. So it's either you're intentionally supporting it, or you're unintentionally, because of your ego, your arrogance, and your pompousness, that is making you blind that you are being an asset to our demise. Sorry, you're being an asset to the plan of our demise. And you're being a liability to the plan of our freedom. You're being an asset to the plan of our demise. You are a liability to the plan of our freedom. And that goes to many of you freedom movement platform and influencers that many of you run and sign petition for and do all that nonsense. These freedom fighters, influencers, are a liability to our freedom. And they're an asset. They have been an asset to our demise. Because every one of them that told you about the Dominion system, it's the voting is rigged, don't bother, but they tell you to sign petition, sign petition, call up your MPs, call up your MPPs. But when it's time to vote, oh, don't bother, stay at home. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And every one of you keep running like them, like the Pied Pipers. They blow something over there, you run to the left. They blow something over there, you run to the right. But when it's time for you to be in action, tell you to stay home, don't bother. Run to the hills. Listen, Canadians need to wake up and see how you're being played by those within, and you're already being played by your open enemy outside. You can't see your open enemy within your own team, within your own parameters, because you're being blinded by your preconceived notions of who you think looks trustworthy or sounds trustworthy. And you're not going back to Martin Luther King telling you need to start judging people by the content of their characters and not by their external aesthetics. The content of the character, look at the fruits that they have birthed, that they have produced. They have produced the fruit of the Jagmeet liberal agenda coming this far. Every one of your freedom fighters, you want to know their fruit? They have allowed it. Many of your freedom fighters are undercover NDP supporters. They were way back part of the whole Antifa movement. Back in the days when NDP was our version of Antifa, destroying public property, burning down and everything and all. That is who's now moved on. They're in their 60s and all that, paralegals and all that. Many of you guys love. They were part of the NDP Antifa movements back then, destroying public property in the name of freedom. And they just grew up, and now the NDP is asking them to keep you guys hoodwinked and gaslitten and have you on all their platforms and telling you don't worry about this and don't worry about that and let's just petition. Affidavits and paying them left, right, and center, $20 an affidavit. They're getting all your cash while they're giving you action steps that don't do a jack crap for the advancement of the NDP agenda that they're a part of. And when I call them up, many of you got offended by me because that's your girl. You like her. That's my guy. You like him. We have one movement. It is towards our freedom. And it's not the freedom movement. It is already infiltrated from day one. Get in action towards attainable and possible solutions that is attainable and it is possible. Not the ones that they tell you, oh, that's impossible, that's unattainable, that's not logical. Oh, really? Pierre Poilievre Conservatives has the Liberals. Who has the NDP? Who's keeping the NDP open? Who's leaving the NDP wide open? And the NDP being left wide open is assisting the Liberals to stay in the game. That position over there, left wide open and unguarded and not being laser focused on, keeps the Liberals in the goddamn game. So we are getting a clean sweep of Conservatives, and we're going to get in action in supporting them, get in action in going out on the polls. We're going to wrap around school buildings and we're marking an X on our Conservative MP names. And if the Conservative alternatives parties don't get their act together, that is what's going to happen. Or we also bring in a new opposition party for those that want to still have a check and balance, but for sure it's not a Green, it's not an NDP, and it's not a Liberal that's going to be up in that house. We need to annihilate them and bring in new opposition. And that could be in the form of just independent Conservatives who is going to be elected as opposition, or a new opposition party that is going to be there to eliminate the NDP and eliminate the Liberals. We cannot have the NDP and the Liberals stay in this game. We need to annihilate them. So, a Liberal NDP government that makes you reliant on their handout is a welfare government that is in control of your quality of life and in control of making sure you do not rise above where you can provide for your own. The hollowing out of the Americas, like Deputy Prime Minister stated, has been in effect of getting rid of all the America's middle class by elevating the middle class of the Chinese population and those of the Indian population. The partnership that the Deputy Mayor of Toronto has signed with the Mayor of India, one of India's major cities, the relationship that the Chief of Police X here had with the Chief of Police in Chicago, the relationship that the Mayor of Toronto has with the Mayor of Chicago. There's a reason why Toronto and Chicago has always been called sister cities, and each mayor has the keys to the city. You guys are so blind to the day-to-day, and I get it. You've been so busy with your day-to-day, you're not aware of all of these things that's happening behind the scenes. It is a plan to turn Toronto into Chicago. And they're getting you accustomed by all these crimes happening at a level where it's no longer a shock. That's why Chicago is the way it is. Now it's just their new normal. And they're slowly bringing it in as our new normal. And we have to push back. Do not hire a mayor that is part of the Kathleen Wynne's wave that brought in this sexual disgustingness that Doug Ford kept. So on a provincial level, we have to get rid of them by getting a lot of independent conservatives, just like Bobby Ann Brady was able to be successful on a conservative level, where all of her conservatives turned their back on the established ridings. They thought that their mayor that Doug Ford had picked was going to win. And an independent conservative with the support of an MPP who Doug Ford kicked out, they rallied and they got all their conservatives to turn their back on the established, hand-picked Doug Ford's candidate. And they turned their back and they said, no, Doug Ford, we are real conservatives. And they voted Bobby Ann in. We have to rinse and repeat that mindset as conservatives on the grassroots level. No longer do we support who Doug Ford puts. And this is how we can drain the Conservative Party. And you see how quick they do a revolt. Oh, we got to get rid of Doug Ford. No, it's not because they finally wake up. It's because they see that we have finally woken up. And they are going out the door. So we're going to keep draining. And we're going to keep replacing every MPP with an independent conservative. And we're going to rinse and repeat what Bobby Ann Brady did. And on a federal level, we have to get rid, it is a must, of the NDP and the Liberal and the one Green that has kept Justin Trudeau. And a clean sweep we're doing. So everybody get on board on this game plan, or you're going to be left, you're going to be benched. Because we're looking for the real players who are ready to say, coach, put me in. Put me in. I see the game. I see the plan. I am on this team. What's my position? Let me play my part. We have too many people that want to be the lead and not everybody that wants to win for freedom. So we are going to stop this madness.
Get their kids to the dentist.
Hey there, what's your name? Chloe, and how's it been, Chloe? Is it good visit to the dentist here? Yeah, your teeth nice and shiny and clean.
Last December, we created the Canada Dental Benefit to help parents get their kids to the dentist. Already, close to 250,000 kids have been able to access dental care, and there's lots more to do. But as Dr. Lynn Tompkins, head of the Canadian Dental Association, has said, it's a game changer. But we know it's not just kids who need affordable dental care.
Ready? To the dentist? Yep. Oh, there you go. You did awesome. It's fun. You get a good cleaning?
That's why with Budget 2023, we're creating the Canadian Dental Care Plan. It'll provide coverage to Canadians that don't have dental insurance or are making family incomes of less than $90,000. And if you're making less than $70,000, the plan will cover all the costs. This is really urgent, which is why we're going to start rolling it out.
Who's making you make less than 90 and who's making you make less than 70? Who's making things so hard? Who has made it where you are making below 90, below 70 and keeping you there?
By the end of this year, and when it's fully implemented, it'll help about 9 million Canadians be able to afford to go to the dentist. Because in a country like Canada, we shouldn't be able to guess at how much money someone's parents made by the quality of their smile.
Like a country in Canada, we should be able to make as much as we want. You should have not destroyed the middle class. You should have been doing everything to raise the middle class and celebrate the middle class in the America's rising. You should not be resentful that the middle class is making so much that you feel like, oh, we need to get rid of that. In a country like Canada, you should have been supporting the middle class. You should have been there to really have our backs, to elevate us and keep saying, look at Canada, look at our middle class, look how we are really, quote unquote, progressing. In a country like Canada, we should have income where we don't need your handouts.
This is all part of our plan to continue working hard for you, to delivering affordability and a better tomorrow. We're going to keep working for you every step of the way.
Here are some comments to that video that Justin did. Just a few. Let me tell you, his post and Jagmeet's post on Twitter, Canadians aren't joking. I haven't really gone over on their Facebook page or on their Instagram, but I'm confident that Canadians are over there too, letting them know we see right through your BS. And I'm speaking from someone whose family has been loyal to the Liberal Party all of my childhood and prior. And I'm the first one to have breaking rank and says, no, this party is not in line with my values. And that started my eye opening from the Kathleen Wynne's provincial sexual education. Prior to that was when they started to come into the churches, into the religious arenas, and tell their clergy what they can and cannot say about same sex. And on the pulpits, you start to see the clergy customizing the word. You start seeing that was when the church should have seen the encroachment of the line being drawn that's being passed, where Pharaoh and Caesar is saying that also belongs to them. And then fast forward when Doug Ford kept that, and that was also brought in with the help of Mitzi Hunter, the Minister of Education, the Liberal Minister of Education, who was Kathleen Wynne's right hand, and who's now running for mayor of Toronto. That encouragement occurred, and the Conservatives' leader, Doug Ford, allowed it to stay. And fast forward now to the encroachment of your body that was supposed to be a line of where government cannot cross to tell you what to do with your body and force you to participate in their experimental drug program. Again, Doug Ford, a conservative, provincially allowed it. And federally, Erin O'Toole did. And that is why I commend the federal party to have revolted and said, no, Erin, where you're sending us and what you're aligning to is not conservative. And we need to do that here on a provincial level, but many of you are too scared. So people like Bobby Ann Brady, independent conservative, says, fine, we will do it for you. And that's what we need to do here on a provincial level. On a federal level, we are not allowing the Liberal and the NDP to get away with what they're doing. We see clearly the coalition, and we see all their helpers on a provincial level. That is why, Alberta, you need to wake up and not let NDP railroad you guys. On every provincial level, we need to wake up to see the coalition that all provincial NDPs are members of the federal party. It's one membership. And we also need to see on a provincial level that the conservative parties that say that they're separate, but they have the same values are not. They have signed on to the Liberal and the NDP agenda, but they're gaslighting you by staying in the blue tent. Many of their members buy memberships when it's leadership race to pick the conservative on a provincial level that they want to stay. That's why Doug Ford won, and he told you. And he said it out loud in front of your faces, conservatives. He told you that. He's running to get the Liberal votes because he knew that the grassroots was not going to support him. So Doug Ford's sweep was because he got Liberals and NDPs to vote for him as well. Because true conservatives saw right through him, but many of them are still remaining of saying that they're afraid. What are you afraid of? The direction he's taking you in? Be like Bobby Ann Brady. Be like real conservatives and get off of his train. And bring real independence into Queen's Park. And on a federal level, we need to completely get rid of them. And that is why you need to stay tuned in to Pierre Poilievre's team. Nominate every MP that's conservative. And if you want an opposition, get a new opposition party in there. And if the opposition parties cannot see this game plan, send in independent conservatives. It is possible, it is attainable because we've seen it done already. So all of your freedom fighters that like to naysay and bring this idea down need to start watching them and seeing who they really are. They are against getting rid of the NDP and they're against getting rid of Doug Ford. And that was very clearly stated to me on a provincial level when one of your high-profile freedom fighters and advocates that you think you love called and threatened me. And I have it recorded. And when I played it for you guys that are so loyal, and many got offended. Why did you record it? I'm sorry. So you like the recording of the people that you don't like. You like when people record their conversations for you to hear who they really are. But your friends and the ones you look up to, you don't like when people record them for you to hear who they really are. Listen, we need to stop it. And that was a post that someone did for Justin Trudeau. Listen, this country is being run right now by jokers. Jagmeet Singh and all of his NDP MPs, provincially and federally, and liberals, provincially and federally, and they're coming into the municipal realm. Your trustees that many of you sent into the Toronto District School Board because you're loyal to your NDP party are the same parents that are crying about the sexual orientation, gender identity curriculum, but you're the one that sent trustees in there. When you had the power to send conservatives into your school board, you decide to be loyal to the party politics and you voted for your party instead of for your children. So you reap what you sow. This is Lady O. Stay in action with faith and possibility. Walk in and protect your light. Your purpose will find you. Your purpose will find you. Say what you mean and begin to live like you mean what you say. You say you're Canadian, start acting. You're not a liberal Canadian, a conservative Canadian, an NDP Canadian, a green Canadian, a white Canadian, a black Canadian. You're Canadian. And there are values that was synonymous with what it is to be Canadian, what Canada is, what it stands for. And little by little, you guys allowed identity politics to start seeping in. Instead of standing on virtue, you become virtue signalers instead of being virtue livers. Livers of living virtuous traits. Children are not to be sexualized. They're not supposed to be preyed upon. They're not supposed to be influenced with all of these adult lifestyle decisions. And you vice principals and principals who are out there, you are disgusting and we see you. Especially that one VP who grabbed that woman's phone and then lied about it, passed it around somewhere, and you're a vice principal. You already showed me your character. You're not a trustworthy man. I don't know if you identify as a man, but outside you look like a man. But hey, this day and age, an apple is a pear, and a pear is a grapefruit, and a grapefruit is an orange, and an orange is a peach, and a peach is a plum, and a plum is an apricot, and an apricot is banana, and banana is strawberry. And strawberry is, you know what, whatever you want to close your eyes and say it is. You, as a vice principal, has shown serious character deficiencies. You are willing to assault. You are willing to steal. You are willing to lie. You're also willing to create a picture to support your lie. You are willing to bold-faced create a narrative. And then now, don't put your hands on me. You created that whole song and dance, vice principal, and you're supposed to be trustworthy. You're supposed to be worthy of trust to do the right thing and actually hold any investigation of your staff. You're supposed to be trustworthy to make decisions that's in the best interest of children. Look at your behavior. These are the adults that are in position of authority. These are the adults that are in position of maintaining any environment of ethics. These here, Canadians, we have work to do. We have a garden full of weeds that we need to pull up. We need to get to gardening. We need to get out there and we need to start pulling them up. We need to start pulling them up from the root, not from the top. We need to dig around. We need to dig around, an inch around, get as far down as possible and get the root up. And then with that open hole, we need to pour a beautiful solution that's organic, that kills any roots of that weed that is here to suck, to kill, to steal, and to destroy. No more does it spring up. We have some weeding to do. We have some work to do. It is spring cleaning, and we need to get out there and we need to till that ground. We need to weed up that ground in spring. We need to do it now. We need to get come on now. It's time. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye.
It's very interesting. I just did a screen record and I did a feedback. And never had issues before, and all of a sudden this video had an issue with this app. It's a video I tried to download from Instagram, and I also got a message that Instagram restricts certain videos to be downloaded. So I said, okay, let me do the screen recorder. And it was going fine. And then screen recorder give me this message. There are certain videos that algorithms have been set to give you, the user, problems. So you just give up and just don't bother. But where there's a will, there is a way. And this video that I'm trying to record and share will be shared. One way or the other, it will be shared. And the feedback would be given.
Experiments did take place at hospitals, universities, and military bases.
I'm going to fast forward to see if it recorded my feedback.
One is no different C to C. An erroneous horror that's in your midst. All of them are horrors, yes. No death is lesser and greater. The magnitude, however, ladies and gentlemen, the magnitude of the evil do have degrees.
Okay, so that's where it ended. So if I could remember organically what I said at the end of that, the magnitude of the evil do have degrees. And it is imperative that humanity, in all our wisdom, in all our academia, that we do our mirror work. We begin to heal ourselves, begin to heal our lives from the hurt and the traumas and the biases and prejudices that has been man-made, where it makes you have an image of who to believe. It has made you have an informed imagery of who to laugh at, who looks like they're telling the truth. It distorted your ability to truly be a discerner of energy. Instead, you make your assessment from your eyes, your visual.
how the person look, how they sound, how they articulate themselves, if they have nice hair, what color hair they have, are they pleasing, are they likable, are they... You have been designed intentionally to allow your senses, your see, smell, touch, hear, feel, to be what you use to discern. And this evil has a master degree in all of those senses. Doing your mirror work will assist you to cut through the BS and for you to be a better discerner and be able for you to see that in this time there was a rinse and repeat. Crimes against humanity did occur on our watch, and they used your man-made intellect and the man-made designed ability to assess. They allowed the evil to be unleashed onto humanity, knowing that you wouldn't pick up on it. And yes, just like he said in 1995, and that's Bill Clinton from the Clintons, just like he said, and even his placement at that time and at that era was also part of the nonsense. Fast forward to Obama, fast forward to Biden, fast forward to even Trump, because Trump had an amazing golden opportunity to have stopped this rollout. Instead, he went into warp speed. I did a video, my recent podcast talked about 4 truths and a lie. I invite you to listen to that podcast. 4 truths and a lie. Stay in action with faith and possibility. Walk in and protect your light. Your purpose will find you. Say what you mean and live like you mean what you say.